Good morning. My name is Aaron Swigett, meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Raleigh, North Carolina. Today, I will be providing the routine weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, covering the period from Monday through Sunday. That is beginning today through November 5th. So October rapidly coming to an end here, and November is on the doorstep. All right, so for the upcoming weather pattern, for the most part, today is going to be the last day of abnormally warm conditions, although probably pretty welcome to most who were not ready to give up on summer or late fall or early fall, I should say. But we'll have as you can see in the upper left-hand panel here, that we'll have a cold front that's just off to our west, and that will progress through our area tonight into tomorrow. And as it's progressing through, should bring a chance of some light rain, mostly tonight into Tuesday, and then moving out of the area Tuesday night into early Wednesday. Behind that front, however, the more noteworthy weather phenomenon that is going to be occurring behind the front is the significantly colder temperatures back behind the front, and that will be beginning tonight and progress through Thursday. And behind that front, we'll kind of get into some of the nitty-gritty details on the temperatures here in a second. But then behind that front, for the most part, high pressure, you can kind of see down here in the bottom left, big H, hanging out over our area Friday, even Sunday. So that'll keep our conditions, for the most part, mostly dry. And then slowly moderating with time as far as temperatures back to near normal, approaching to the into the weekend. All right, so let's go ahead and take a peek at, I mentioned light rain, so how much we're gonna get. So here is our 5-day little graphic here showing today through Friday, and then the 5-day total down there in the bottom right. You can see that there is some light colors, light greens popping up out towards like the Triad and the far northern portions of our area of North Carolina, Virginia border area. That will most likely be after midnight, so we're not expecting any rain today during the daylight hours, but overnight, mainly after midnight, we'll start to see some of those lighter rainfall totals start to creep up out towards daybreak, out towards the Triad area. And then as you can see into Tuesday, that'll be our main day, Tuesday, for more widespread light rain with maybe the heavier rain. I say heavy. You can't see the quotation marks I'm using, but in the grand scheme of things, comparatively, the totals closer to maybe 1/4 of an inch, the better chance of that will be up towards the North Carolina, Virginia border there. And then progressing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday through here, as I mentioned, high pressure really dominating the area and leading to mostly dry conditions. 5-day totals, which is mostly just for tonight into Tuesday. For the most part, very lightest totals down towards Raleigh, or down towards south of Raleigh, down towards Fayetteville, and maybe a little bit higher totals, 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch out towards the Triad and the northern Piedmont, northern coastal plain kind of area. Maybe see a little bit higher totals there. Okay, so I mentioned temperatures. Let's look into it a little bit more. So behind the front, it'll take a little bit of time for the really cooler air to move in and start to see some of those really cooler temperatures, the coolest temperatures of the season so far, moving into the area. But this is going to be Wednesday morning, and you can see a little graphic up here in the top left. Just ignore the colors. That isn't, I wouldn't worry about those, but mostly just the ranges. You can see 32 to 36. You can kind of see a light freeze potential. Once you get into the 28 to 32 degrees, you have a normal freeze potential. And then below 28 is where you start to see that hard freeze, hard killing freeze. So I'll show you, I'll keep that graphic there and we'll progress through each morning there. So this is going to be Wednesday morning. So you can see some freezing temperatures starting to move into the Triad, the northwestern Piedmont area, elsewhere falling into the mid-30s to low 40s. But Thursday morning is where we're going to most likely see our coldest temperatures during this cold snap here, and the first cooler Canadian air mass move into the area. We're starting to see some of these freezing temperatures, widespread freezing temperatures. And you can see Thursday morning, we're expecting right near the bottom edge of that normal freeze to even hard freeze and even in some pockets. So we could see that potential for the most part, mostly a light freeze to a normal freeze for most of the area. I think the biggest question mark is going to be down towards like Laurinburg, Fayetteville, Lillington, Smithfield, Goldsboro, Clinton kind of area. That will be the biggest question mark in seeing if we'll get a long enough period of time where we'll see an end to the growing season. So we'll keep everyone updated on that and provide any specifics on that in the Thursday briefing on which counties were in and removed and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. But then we'll moderate a little bit heading into Friday here. Here's the new graphic for Friday. So you can kind of see still pretty splotchy for the most part. And kind of what we're expecting as high pressure builds in behind, you may just see a larger variation between the coldest spots and the warmest spots. Coldest spots being the outlying rural areas and the warmest spots being urban areas. So we may just see a greater temperature difference between those two, but slightly warmer overall on Friday morning. Okay, we'll pivot away from temperatures there. Quick look at the National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. Two areas of interest there, neither which are of much concern for the continental United States. You can see that one in yellow there, the east of Florida and up toward the Bahamas. And that little area is most likely going to be picked up and pushed off back out into the Atlantic with that cold front I mentioned earlier. So no impacts to land there. And then going into the 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Now this is going to be covering the period from November 6th through the 12th. So kind of early to mid-November, what are we kind of expecting? For the most part, near normal temperatures, but we could see a better chance of slightly above normal temperatures, or above normal precipitation, I should say, especially out towards the coast. Maybe greater totals there with a couple different troughs moving in and leading into some better rainfall potential out that way. Specifics are still uncertain at this time with greater uncertainty when you get out to that time range, but for the most part, generally expect near normal temperatures and maybe some better chances for some 1 or 2 chances of rainfall or so as we're starting to get into early to mid-November. And as for temperatures, near normals for Greensboro, Raleigh, Fayetteville, you can see them down there from left to right on the bottom. For the most part, low to maybe mid 60s or so for the most part during that time frame for your highs, and then your lows, you can already see Greensboro starting to have a 3-digit out front. So we're starting to get near normal, still means temperatures falling into the 30s, at least towards the Triad and the northwestern Piedmont as we're approaching mid-November. So getting pretty chilly, seasonal chilly. And that's, for the most part, that's all I got for you guys. So again, strong cold front, some light rain today, nothing too impactful to worry about, mainly between a trace to maybe up towards a 1/4 of an inch in some spots. But the bigger story is the cold temperatures behind the front, coldest temperatures being Wednesday morning, and expecting potentially more of a widespread frost freeze event by Wednesday morning. And then the high pressure will lead to mostly dry conditions over the area. And you can see the 7-day forecast for the Raleigh area, at least down there at the bottom. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I will hang on for any questions. Thank you so much for joining me. See you on Thursday.